If you only study products, you miss the engine, the founder. On early angle, we get into the mindset, motives, and moments that drive the product and go to market. Short conversations with people building right now. 15 minutes, no fluff, and money. Let's get into the conversation. Welcome to the short founder conversations. I strongly believe that a founder's real moat is himself or herself, or his or her story. But most of the times, these stories never get heard until the founder makes it big. This is a series to unbox those stories very early on when the journey is still messy and when the founder is still in the motion of scaling. Today, we're talking to Praveen from Wild Creek Studios about his journey and how he's making it up as a solopreneur. So, okay, Praveen, for someone meeting you for the first time, how would you introduce yourself, who you are, and what you do?
I'm Praveen. I'm a digital strategy consultant. I run a company called Wild Creek Web Studio for the last 16 years. I've been in this space since 1998, and I work with businesses and various other agencies and help them grow their digital presence to sustainable SEO, PPC, or social media.
That's beautiful. So, we just wanted to understand a little bit more about your founding story. So, if you can tell us a little bit about how did this all actually begin? Like, can you walk me through the journey from what sparked the idea to taking your first step?
So, the idea of us to Wild Creek began way back in 98, 99, when I got introduced to the world of internet, building websites and all of that. I registered the domain name in 2002 simply because I knew that I'm not going to be good at working under somebody when they themselves don't know what to do and all of it. And it kind of proved true in my very short 3-year career in the corporate world. I worked in two companies, and I was always somebody who's got a lot of ideas, risk taking, and all of it. But my immediate superiors were not those risk taking. They just wanted to safeguard their jobs, and that did not sit well with me. And I was always kind of, in a way, wanting to explore various things, do things that nobody's done, and all of that. And so I quit my corporate job and started legally started Wild Creek. And fortunately, my previous employer became my first client, and that's how Wild Creek kind of grew from there.
So, from what you mentioned, I understand that it's about freedom and wanting to do what you actually wanted to do. But we come to the question of purpose. When you take that into account, most of the time when somebody starts a business, it's either freedom, which is what you meant, or it's about money, which are the two things people start a business for. But I strongly believe that there is more to a person than these two things. There is something much more inherent and innate as a purpose that is driving them to do this business. So if you can little bit throw a light on what your purpose is, which is apart from money and freedom.
Very honestly, I kind of found out my purpose after like 13 years. I didn't have when I started. I didn't have a purpose or anything like that. I just simply wanted to do what I always wanted to do, be it building websites, growing them to SEO, and building probably a digital career for myself. And the only reason I wanted to do is that it gave me that flexibility to work from anywhere and work at any time. I was not bound by the 10 to 6, 9 to 5 kind of a routine. And eventually, after running Wild Creek, after working with several clients, what I realized is there's a lot of people out there who are so-called experts and who take clients for the ride. And especially during the COVID, I worked with so many people who have been literally scammed by various other digital marketing experts and consultants and agencies. And suddenly, these people just came to me and said, "I want to do this, but I've already burnt my fingers and all of it." And somehow or the other, that kind of sparked something inside me, and I just wanted to kind of help these guys out because there's a lot of good people wanting to build legitimate businesses, but they're being pulled down by bad actors. And I just wanted to do my bit to help them scale up in whatever little way that they can on the digital front so that they can have a sustainable business. And that's what I've been doing in the last 5 years.
Actually, thanks for being very honest because most of the notions what we develop is that we need to have a purpose when we start a business itself, not necessarily. But I think you hope to have a purpose when you began, which is your personal freedom and what you want to do. So what I understand from this conversation is that you've translated that because you've achieved your personal freedom. Now you want others to also achieve it and do exactly what they want to do and helping them in the process. That's the way I see how you have actually transitioned from actually achieving your own purpose and now making that purpose come alive for others too. So if you dwell a little further into this, how do you see this playing out in the services and solutions you offer people? Like how does your purpose come alive when you deliver something or through your solutions for FCO and PTC?
Where I find joy is when I am able to actually help them achieve certain things. Most of the people who come to me have got some challenge or the other. For example, just about last week, I was working with one of these leading company in Chennai, and for some reason, their Instagram account got hacked 3 years ago, and the people who were handling the Instagram account had no clue how to retrieve it. They did not raise any complaints to Meta, or they did not do anything. They simply said, "Oh, it's got hacked and we can't do anything about it." But this is a brand which has been there in the industry for over 50 years. And overnight, they just lost it simply because the people handling it did not know what to do. And all it took me was 35 days, and I was able to retrieve their account, which was hacked for the last 3 years, and give them access back. The people in the organization were extremely happy because that was their bread and butter. And for the last 3 years, they had a backdoor to the account, but they couldn't do anything with it. So that was one instance. There's a couple of other places where a lot of people watch a lot of these videos on social media with the messaging saying you can do digital and make millions of rupees. It doesn't really happen. You need to put in real hard work. And I've had uh, potential customers who come in wanting to do digital. And then when I explain to them how digital works, they actually shut shop. A couple of them shut shop and went back to work because this is not something that they want, that was feasible for them. So, in a way, in my own ways, I'm able to bring out the actual hard work that one needs to put in to succeed in digital. And that is something that I feel good. Fundamentally, I'm a very lazy marketer. So I don't take up a lot of work. But when I do take up work, I ensure that I give my 100% and I provide some value. And because I've been in this space for a long time, I can tell to people when something's going to work, when something's not going to work. And thankfully, most of my intuitions have been right so far. So, and I'm able to bring that to their business and they see it in a different way.
So tell me if this is what you meant. Like I see two pillars or under structures which is holding your business together. One is authenticity and truthfulness, which is because you tell them that okay, this requires so much amount of hard work or money invested to work, instead of just like others who are taking money and taking people for a ride. So one is authenticity and truthfulness. The other is very core to you is free will, which is do what you want to do without the hurdles. Free will has two problems. One is oppression from larger industrial complexes and all that, and another is free will, which is basically brittled by hurdles, and that's what you remove, right? So, am I right in saying that your purpose is actually being very authentic and truthful, and actually people live or do business with free will? Is that kind of something that resonates, or is this what you're trying to do with your business?
I don't know if I can say my purpose is being authentic and truthful. That's what I am. I call a spade. Over it is, and it has got me into a lot of problems in the past. Also, at my very short corporate stint, even when my boss wanted to do something, I would call it out publicly and say that's not the way to do it. And then we end up in an argument, and eventually I'll be proved right. So for me, if I see something, I call it for whatever it is. Some people will not like it. Most people will not like it. But there is that small percentage of people who like me for what I do. And it also helps them to see things in a certain way. Instead of investing a lot of money into a business which may not work digitally, they could put that money to better use. They could do something with it. So that's me being me. Free will, I don't judge. I don't know if that's even the right word. But I want to do what I want to do. This is what I know to do, and this is how I know to do. So it just goes on with me being who I am.
So basically, your value is authenticity and truthfulness, and your purpose is, at least for yourself, is freedom to do what you want to do. And I believe that's getting strongly translated to your clients also when you help them pass through the hurdles and achieve whatever they wanted to achieve.
Absolutely, yeah.
What has been the hardest part of building this entire business for you over the past years?
Most of the times, client come in with a demand that they need to grow 4x, 5x in a very short amount of time. So telling them it's not going to happen often turns them away. They go to somebody else and then they spend a lot of money, and then like 6 months, 12 months later, when they meet me, they kind of come back and say, you know, what you said was right. We ended up spending so much of money, but it did not do. That's probably a challenge because people don't want to put the hard work. They want instant gratification. We've got Swiggy, we've got Zomato, who can deliver the food in less than 10 minutes. So people think building a digital business is like that. All they need to do is put up a website, create a social media handle, and then clients would start coming in. We live in a very crowded market. So for anyone to even notice, we need to start advertising, we need to put in money and all of that. There are some people who have had it lucky, but for most of them, they need to do something. And without doing that something, it is next to impossible to build a sustainable business. You might get that one or two clients, but it's not going to come out regularly. You still need to find and figure out and do a lot of things. When I explain it to the clients, they don't understand because they just simply want to make money and move on and all of that. So that's probably the hardest part.
So if someone is starting in your space today, or if somebody who's looking up to you is just about 10 steps behind you, what would be the advice you give to them?
I would just tell them to kind of start doing things by themselves first. Then they will know how easy or how difficult it is. Once they understand the path it takes, then they can either make a decision or they can kind of do something else. Often people get into the digital space because everybody thinks everything is digital, so it's going to be very easy for me to do something. But it's not the case. There've been so many people who've spent so many hours learning something, and we've got AI at this point in time where people go to ChatGPT, ask it a couple of questions, it rattles out a couple of answers, and they think it's as easy as that. So unfortunately, it's not. But I tell them to most of the people who come in and say, I want to build something like yours, I tell them first learn how to do it the hard way. Build your websites by yourself. Don't use any AI tools and all of it. And then learn everything else because this is a industry where you need to learn everything from scratch if something else comes in. So what you learn today may not even be relevant in like 30 days. So there is a constant learning that needs to be done. If someone's not willing to put that effort, then it doesn't work out. So they need to be learning and unlearning on a regular basis. And that's probably the most difficult part. So if they are willing to do it, perfect. If they aren't, then this industry is not the right one for them.
So people have to get hands on, basically.
People definitely have to get
Hands
hands
on.
on.
Okay. So probably if someone wants to connect and follow you or learn from you, where should they go?
My website is there, wildcreekstudio.com, or I'm active on LinkedIn and Facebook. So both the places you can connect with me. Otherwise, I'm there on Instagram as well, but it's not very active. But LinkedIn and Facebook, I check them every single day. So those are the two places.
I haven't mentioned your book.
Yes, I've also got a recently launched a new book, published a new book called Digital Marketing Mastery. It's available on Amazon as a Kindle version. If somebody wants a physical copy, just DM me your address and I'll be happy to send a copy.
So thanks, Praveen, for sharing your journey with us. And if all of you enjoy this, keep an eye out. You're going to bring in more founders into the spotlight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mani, for having me.